Jake Morrison wiped the grease from his hands and looked at the old clock on the garage wall. It was almost midnight, and he was still working on Mrs. Peterson's car. The engine had been making strange noises for weeks, and she needed it fixed. By morning, Jake loved his job as a mechanic in the small town of Millbrook, Ohio. He had been fixing cars since he was 15, and now at 28, he could fix almost anything with an engine. He reached for his coffee cup and noticed his old gaming headset was making a soft buzzing sound. Jake had bought it years ago when he used to play online games with his friends. Now he mostly used it to listen to music while working. The buzzing was new and strange. He put the headset on his head and heard something that made him stop moving. "Hello, Jake Morrison," said a voice that sounded like a woman but with a musical quality he had never heard before. "We have been waiting to speak with you." Jake laughed and shook his head. "Very funny, guys. Which one of you is this? Did Pete put you up to this?" "We are not your friends, Jake Morrison. We are Zara and Kira from the planet Zarian." "We need your help," said another voice, similar to the first but slightly different. Jake rolled his eyes. His friends had played pranks on him before, but this was getting elaborate. "Come on, really? Aliens? You guys watch too many movies." "We understand your disbelief, Jake Morrison. Our world is dying, and we have searched many star systems for someone like you. Your genetic markers are compatible with our species. We need you to help us repopulate our world." Jake took off the headset and looked at it. The voices had sounded so real and strange, he put it back on. "Look, whoever you are, this joke is getting old. I have work to do. We know you are a mechanic. Jake Morrison. We have watched you fix the vehicles in your garage. You have a gift for understanding how things work. You also have a kind heart. We saw how you helped the old woman with her car payments last month." Jake felt a chill run down his spine. Nobody knew about that except him and Mrs. Peterson. He had told her she could pay him later when she had money. "How do you know about that?" "We have been observing you for many months, Jake Morrison. We needed to be sure you were the right person. Your planet Earth sends many signals into space. We learned your language from your television and radio broadcasts. We chose you because you are compatible with our species." Jake sat down on his work stool. This was getting weird. "Okay, let's say you're really aliens. Why would you choose me?" "I'm just a mechanic in a small town. I fix cars. I'm not special." "You are more special than you know, Jake Morrison. Your genetic pattern is 1 in 10 million. We have tested billions of humans through your broadcast signals. Only you have the markers we need. Also, your kindness and problem-solving skills make you perfect for our mission." "What mission?" Jake asked, starting to feel curious despite himself. "Our species, the Zirathi, has a problem. We have lived for thousands of years, but our population is shrinking. We cannot have children anymore because we all have similar genetics. We need genetic diversity to survive. Our scientists discovered that mixing with compatible species can save us." "You are compatible." Jake laughed again, but it sounded forced. "So you want me to be some kind of space donor? This is crazy. We want you to come to our world and help us. In return, we will share our technology with you. We can heal any injury, extend life, and travel between stars. Your people could benefit greatly from our knowledge." Jake looked around his garage at the old tools and equipment. "Even if this was real, which it's not, why would I leave my life here? We do not ask you to leave forever, Jake Morrison. We ask you to visit our world and meet us. If you choose to help us, you will be honored among our people. If you choose to return to Earth, we will respect your decision." The voices went quiet for a moment, then Zara spoke again. "We know this is difficult to believe. We will call you again tomorrow night. Think about what we have said." "Wait," Jake said, but the headset went silent. Jake took off the headset and stared at it. The whole conversation had felt so real. The voices were unlike anything he had ever heard. They had an otherworldly quality that made him believe they might actually be alien. But that was impossible. Aliens didn't exist, and even if they did, they wouldn't choose a small-town mechanic from Ohio. He went back to work on Mrs. Peterson's car, but he couldn't concentrate. The voices kept echoing in his mind. They had known about his private act of kindness. They had spoken with such detail about their world and their problem. It was too elaborate for a simple prank. The next day, Jake couldn't stop thinking about the conversation. He asked his friends Pete and Danny if they had called him, but they denied it. They didn't even know he still had the old headset. Jake went through his day fixing cars and helping customers, but his mind kept wandering to the voices. When midnight came, Jake was waiting in his garage with the headset on. Right on time, the voices returned. "Hello again, Jake Morrison. Have you thought about our proposal?" "I've thought about it," Jake said. "But I still don't believe you're real aliens." "How can you prove it?" "What would convince you, Jake Morrison?" asked Kira. "I don't know. Show me something impossible. Do something that proves you're not just my friends playing a trick." "Look at your computer screen," said Zara. Jake turned to his old computer and saw that it had turned on by itself. Files were opening and closing without him touching anything. Images appeared on the screen showing crystal cities under alien suns, strange beings walking through gardens of glowing plants, and spacecraft that looked like they were grown instead of built. "This is our world, Jake Morrison. This is Zarian. We can control your electronic devices from our ship. We have technology that your people have not yet discovered." Jake watched the images change on his screen. They were beautiful and impossible. Nothing on Earth looked like what he was seeing. "Where are you? How are you doing this?" "We are in a ship hidden in your solar system. We have been here for 3 months studying your world and waiting for the right time to contact you. We chose you carefully, Jake Morrison. You are our hope." Jake felt his heart beating fast. Either this was the most elaborate prank in history, or he was actually talking to aliens. "What do you want from me exactly?" "We want you to be the father of a new generation. Our species can only reproduce with genetic compatibility. You would live on our world and help us create children who carry both human and Zirathi traits. These children would save our species from extinction." Jake was quiet for a long time. "And what happens to me?" "You would be honored and cared for. You would have a place of great respect in our society. We would be your partners in this mission. Together we can save our world." The conversation continued for hours. Jake learned about their technology, their culture, and their desperate situation. The more they talked, the more he began to believe them. No prank could be this detailed and consistent. When they finally said goodbye, Jake sat in his garage, staring at the dark computer screen. His simple life as a mechanic was about to change forever. Jake could not sleep for 3 days after his last conversation with Zara and Kira. He kept thinking about the images on his computer screen and the impossible things they had shown him. During the day, he worked on cars as usual, but his mind was somewhere else. His customers noticed he was distracted and asked if everything was okay. Jake just smiled and said he was tired. On the 4th night, Jake was closing his garage when he heard thunder in the distance. A storm was coming to Millbrook. He had always liked storms, so he decided to stay and watch from his garage doorway. The wind started to blow harder and rain began to fall. Lightning flashed across the sky, lighting up the empty street. Then Jake saw something that made his heart stop. A shape was moving through the storm clouds. It was not an airplane or a helicopter. It was smooth and curved like a teardrop made of silver light. The object moved silently through the rain and landed behind his garage in the empty field where old cars were stored. Jake stood frozen in his doorway. His hands were shaking and his mouth was dry. The object was real. It was actually there. The aliens were real and they had come to see him. The rain stopped suddenly as if someone had turned off a faucet. The wind died down and the air became very still. Jake could hear his own heartbeat as he walked slowly toward the field. Each step felt like it took forever. As he got closer, Jake could see that the spacecraft was beautiful. It looked like it was made of living metal that changed color from silver to blue to purple. Strange symbols glowed softly on its surface. The craft was about the size of a small house, but shaped like a smooth egg. A section of the craft opened without making any sound. Soft light poured out and Jake saw two figures walking toward him. They were tall and graceful, moving like dancers. As they came closer, Jake could see they were definitely not human. The beings were about 7 feet tall with skin that seemed to shimmer like water. Their faces were beautiful, but alien, with large eyes that looked like they held stars inside. They had no hair, but their heads were covered with patterns that looked like delicate tattoos made of light. "Hello, Jake Morrison," said the first being. Her voice was the same musical sound he had heard through his headset. "I am Zara, and I am Kira," said the second being. "We are pleased to finally meet you in person." Jake tried to speak, but no words came out. He was looking at real aliens who had traveled across space to find him. It was the most amazing and terrifying moment of his life. "Do not be afraid," Zara said gently. "We mean you no harm. We come in peace and friendship." "You are really aliens?" Jake finally managed to say. "You are really from another planet?" "Yes," Kira replied. "We are from Zarian, many light years from your Earth. We have traveled a very long way to meet you." Jake looked at them closely. They were obviously twins, but he could see differences. Zara seemed more serious and thoughtful. Kira had a warmer expression and seemed more emotional. Both of them were incredibly beautiful in a way that was completely alien but somehow familiar. "How can you breathe our air?" Jake asked. "Our technology allows us to adapt to different atmospheres," Zara explained. "We have studied your world for many months. We can survive here safely." "Why did you really come here?" Jake asked. "I mean, I know what you told me, but there must be billions of people on Earth. Why me?" Kira stepped forward and touched Jake's arm gently. The moment she touched him, Jake felt a warm feeling spread through his body. It was like being touched by sunlight. "We can sense genetic compatibility through touch," Kira explained. "What you just felt proves that we are compatible. Your genetic pattern is perfect for our needs. Our species has been dying for 1,000 years, Zara added. "We have searched across many star systems looking for compatible species. Humans are the first we have found who can help us." Jake felt overwhelmed by the responsibility. "But I am just one person. How can I help save your entire species?" "You would not be saving us alone," Zara said. "You would be working with us. Together, we can create a new generation that combines the best of both our species." "What would that mean for me?" Jake asked. "What would my life be like?" "You would live on our world as an honored guest," Kira explained. "You would have everything you need. You would be respected and cared for. Most importantly, you would have us as your partners and companions." Jake looked at both of them. Despite their alien appearance, he felt drawn to them. There was something about their presence that made him feel calm and safe. "What is your world like?" he asked. "It is beautiful," Zara said. "We have crystal cities that reach toward the sky. Our technology works with nature instead of against it. We have no wars, no hunger, no disease. Our people live in harmony with each other and with our planet." "But we are dying," Kira added sadly. "Without genetic diversity, we cannot have children. Our population shrinks every year. Soon there will be no more Zerathi." Jake felt a pull in his chest. These beings had traveled across the galaxy to find him. They needed his help to survive. It was like something out of a science fiction movie, but it was real. "How do I know I can trust you?" Jake asked. "We understand your caution," Zara said. "We would feel the same way. We ask only that you come with us to see our world. If you do not like what you see, we will bring you back to Earth immediately." "You mean leave Earth? Leave my home?" "Only for a visit," Kira assured him. "We want you to make an informed choice. You should see our world and meet our people before you decide." Jake looked around at his small garage, his tools, his simple life. Then he looked at the two alien beings who had crossed the universe to find him. They were offering him a chance to see wonders beyond his imagination and to help save an entire species. "How long would the trip take?" he asked. "Several of your days," Zara replied. "Our ship can travel faster than light." The journey would be safe and comfortable. And if I decide to come back? We will honor your choice, Kira said. We will not force you to stay, but we hope that once you see our world, you will want to help us. Jake took a deep breath. He was about to make the biggest decision of his life. He could stay in his safe, familiar world and wonder forever what might have been. Or he could take the greatest adventure any human had ever had. When would we leave? He asked. Whenever you are ready, Zara replied. We have waited this long. We can wait a little longer. Jake looked at his garage one more time. Then he looked at the two alien beings who were offering him a chance to help save their world. I need to think about this, he said. Of course, Kira said. We will wait for your answer. They walked back to their ship, and Jake watched as it disappeared into the night sky. He stood in the field for a long time, knowing that his life would never be the same. Jake spent 2 days thinking about Zara and Kira's offer. He walked around his small town looking at everything with new eyes. The old diner where he ate breakfast every morning, the park where he played as a child, the garage where he had worked for 10 years. Everything seemed smaller now that he knew there were entire worlds beyond Earth. On the third morning, Jake made his decision. He packed a small bag with clothes and personal items. He wrote a note to his landlord saying he had to leave town for family reasons. He arranged for his friend Pete to take care of his few belongings. Then he walked to the field behind his garage and waited. The ship appeared just as the sun was setting. It landed silently in the same spot as before. Zara and Kira emerged, both wearing flowing clothes that seemed to be made of the same shimmering material as their skin. Have you made your decision, Jake Morrison? Zara asked. I want to see your world, Jake said. I want to understand what you need from me. Kira smiled, and Jake felt that warm feeling again. We are honored by your trust. Come, let us show you our ship. Jake followed them through the opening in the spacecraft. The inside was nothing like he had expected. Instead of metal walls and blinking lights, the interior looked like a living cave made of smooth, glowing material. The walls pulsed gently with soft light that changed from blue to green to gold. Our technology is biological, Zara explained. Our ships are grown, not built. This vessel is alive in its own way. It responds to our thoughts and emotions. How is that possible? Jake asked, touching one of the walls. It felt warm and smooth, like touching a sleeping animal. We learned long ago to work with nature instead of against it, Kira said. Our ancestors discovered how to merge technology with living systems. The result is more efficient and harmonious than your mechanical devices. They led Jake to a room that looked like a comfortable living space. There were seats that molded themselves to his body when he sat down. The walls showed images of space, stars, and distant galaxies. This will be your room during the journey, Zara said. The ship will provide everything you need. Food, water, entertainment, whatever makes you comfortable. How long will the trip take? Jake asked. 4 of your days, Kira replied. We will travel through hyperspace, which allows us to move faster than light. You will be safe the entire time. Jake felt the ship begin to move, but there was no vibration or noise. Through the wall images, he could see Earth getting smaller, and smaller until it was just a blue dot in the darkness. For a moment, he felt panic. He was leaving everything he had ever known. It is natural to feel afraid, Zara said, sensing his emotions. You are very brave to take this journey. Tell me about your world, Jake said, trying to distract himself. From his fear, Zarian is older than Earth, Kira began. Our sun is larger and warmer. We have 2 moons that create beautiful tides in our crystal seas. Our cities are built into living mountains that grow toward the sky. Our people have lived in peace for thousands of years, Zara added. We have no weapons, no armies, no wars. We spend our time learning, creating, and exploring the universe. That sounds perfect, Jake said. Too perfect. What is the catch? The catch is that we are dying, Kira said sadly. Our perfection became our weakness. We eliminated disease, violence, and suffering, but we also eliminated genetic diversity. Now we cannot reproduce? How long do your people live? Jake asked. We can live for 1,000 Earth years, Zara replied. But what good is a long life if there are no children to carry on our legacy? Jake began to understand the weight of their situation. An entire civilization was depending on him. It was both exciting and terrifying. During the journey, Jake learned about Zirathi culture. They were a deeply spiritual people who believed in harmony between all living things. They had developed technology that could heal any injury instantly, manipulate matter at the molecular level, and communicate across vast distances through thought alone. Why did you choose me specifically? Jake asked on the second day. What makes me special? Your genetic pattern is unique, Zara explained. But more than that, your personality is compatible with our way of life. You are kind, curious, and willing to help others. You solve problems with creativity and patience. We watched you work in your garage, Kira added. You treat each broken machine like a puzzle to be solved, not an enemy to be defeated. You have the mind of an engineer and the heart of a healer. Jake felt embarrassed by their praise. I just fix cars, anyone can do that. Not anyone, Zara sighed. We observed many humans. Most are focused on competition, dominance, and personal gain. You are different. You help others without expecting reward. On the third day, Jake began to see other ships in the distance. They were all different. Shapes and sizes, but they all had the same organic, living appearance as the ship he was on. Those are other Zirathi vessels, Kira explained. They are returning home from exploration missions. They have been searching for species like yours across the galaxy. Did any of them find compatible species? Jake asked. A few found species. That might work, Zara said. But none as compatible as humans. You are our best hope. As they approached Zarian, Jake saw the planet through the ship's viewing system. It was beautiful beyond description. The surface was covered with crystal formations that caught and reflected the light of the dual suns. Vast forests of silver, and gold trees stretched across continents. Cities that looked like living sculptures rose from the landscape. It is magnificent, Jake whispered. This is your new home, Kira said. If you choose to stay. The ship landed in a spaceport that looked like a garden. Other Zirathi were waiting to greet them, all tall and graceful with the same shimmering skin. They looked at Jake with curiosity and hope. Welcome to Zarian, Jake Morrison, said an elderly Zirathi with patterns of silver light on his skin. I am Elder Thane. We have been waiting for you. Jake stepped out of the ship and felt the warm air of an alien world on his face. The gravity was lighter than Earth's, making him feel like he could float. The sky was a deep purple color with two golden suns hanging low on the horizon. Your people sent representatives across the galaxy to find me, Jake said to Elder Thane. I hope I can help. You already have, Elder Thane replied. By coming here, you have given us hope. Now come, let us show you what we are fighting to save. They walked through the Crystal City and Jake saw wonders he had never imagined. Buildings that grew like trees, vehicles that moved without wheels, or engines, and gardens where the plants sang with the wind. But he also noticed something else. There were no children anywhere? Where are the young ones? Jake asked. There are none, Elder Thane said sadly. The youngest among us is over 200 years old. We have not had a child born in 50 years. Jake looked at Zara and Kira, understanding finally why they had traveled so far to find him. He was not just a visitor to their world. He was their future. Jake's first week on Zarian was like living in a dream. The Zirathi gave him a beautiful home that was grown from living crystal. The walls could change color based on his mood, and the furniture shaped itself to his comfort. The food was strange, but delicious, tasting like nothing he had ever experienced on Earth. Everything seemed perfect, but Jake felt lonely and out of place. Zara and Kira visited him every day, teaching him about their culture and technology. They showed him how to communicate with the living machines that ran their city. Jake discovered that his mechanical skills from Earth helped him understand their biotechnology in ways that surprised even the Zirathi scientists. You have a gift, Zara told him as they worked together in a laboratory. You can see how our Living machines think and feel. Most of our people take this for granted, but you approach it with fresh eyes. Jake was examining a device that looked like a flower made of metal and flesh. When he touched it, the device responded by changing shape and glowing brighter. On Earth, we build machines to do what we want. Here, you work with machines that want to help. It is amazing. This is why we chose you, Kira said. Your mind works in harmony with our technology. You could help us create new things that neither of our species could make alone. The Zirathi Council asked Jake to help them understand human technology. They were fascinated by his simple tools and the way humans solved problems with mechanical force instead of biological cooperation. Jake set up a workshop where he combined his Earth knowledge with Zirathi biotechnology. Look at this, Jake said, showing Elder Thane a device he had created. It was a fusion of a human wrench and a Zirathi biotool. This can fix both mechanical and biological systems. It learns from each repair and gets better over time. Elder Thane examined the hybrid tool with wonder. Remarkable. You have created something entirely new. This proves that our species can work together successfully. But not everyone was happy about Jake's presence. A group of Zirathi led by Commander Nix believed that mixing with aliens was wrong. They thought the Zirathi should remain pure even if it meant extinction. We are the oldest and most advanced species in this galaxy, Commander Nix said during a council meeting that Jake attended. We should not pollute our genetics with primitive alien DNA. Jake felt hurt by the words, but Elder Thane stood up for him. Jake Morrison is not primitive. He has shown us new ways to think about technology and problem solving. He is exactly what we need. He is an alien, Commander Nix replied coldly. His children will not be true Zirathi. They will be something else, something less than what we are. The debate continued for hours. Jake listened to the arguments about his future and the future of the Zirathi people. He began to understand that his decision to help them was not just about having children. It was about changing their entire species forever. After the meeting, Jake walked through the crystal gardens with Zara and Kira. The plants around them glowed softly in the evening light, and the twin moons were rising in the purple sky. I am sorry about what Commander Nix said, Zara told him. Not all of our people think like she does. She is afraid, Kira added. Change is difficult, even when it is necessary for survival. Jake sat down on a bench made of living stone. Maybe she is right. Maybe I should not be here. This is your world, your people. Who am I to change everything? You are the person who answered our call, Zara said, sitting beside him. You left your home, your planet, your entire species to help us. That makes you the bravest person I know. We have been watching you for weeks, Kira said, sitting on his other side. You are not just here for duty, you care about us. You care about our people. That is what makes you perfect for this mission. Jake looked at both of them. Over the past weeks, he had grown to love them not just as alien beings, but as individuals. Zara's brilliant mind and careful planning balanced perfectly with Kira's emotional intelligence and intuitive understanding. Together, they made him feel complete in a way he had never experienced. What will happen to us? Jake asked. I mean, to the three of us, if this works. We will be a family, Zara said simply. A new kind of family that has never existed before. Our children will be the first of their kind, Kira added. They will have the best of both our species. Your creativity and determination, combined with our longevity and mental abilities. Jake felt a warmth spread through his chest. For the first time since arriving on Zarian, he felt like he truly belonged somewhere. But their happiness was interrupted by an emergency alarm. The Crystal City's warning system was activated, and Zirathi were running toward the council chambers. Jake followed Zara and Kira to see what was happening. Commander Nix had gathered her followers and was trying to seize control of the genetic research facilities. She believed that the only way to save the Zirathi was to find a purely technological solution, not biological mixing with aliens. We will not allow our species to be contaminated, Commander Nix announced to the crowd. We will find another way to solve our fertility crisis. There is no other way, Elder Thane replied. Our scientists have tried for centuries. Jake Morrison is our only hope. The argument turned into a standoff. Commander Nix's supporters blocked access to the research centers where Jake's genetic compatibility tests were being conducted. Without those facilities, the reproduction program could not continue. Jake stepped forward, even though he was afraid. Commander Nix, I understand your concerns. You want to protect your people's identity. But identity is not just about genetics. It is about values, culture, and the choices we make. You are an alien, Commander Nix said. You do not understand what it means to be Zirathi. You are right, Jake replied. I am not Zirathi, but I have learned about your values. You believe in harmony, cooperation, and helping others. Those values do not come from your DNA, they come from your choices. Your children with me will learn those same values. But they will not be pure Zirathi, Commander Nix insisted. No, Jake agreed. They will be something new. Something that combines the best of both our species. They will be the future, not the past. The crowd listened to Jake's words. Many of them seemed to be thinking about what he said. Commander Nix looked uncertain for the first time. What if you are wrong? She asked. What if these hybrid children are not what we hope they will be? Then we will love them anyway, Jake said. That is what parents do. We do not love our children because they are perfect. We love them because they are ours. Elder Thane stepped forward. Commander Nix, we must make a choice. We can cling to our pure genetics and face extinction, or we can embrace change and survive. Jake Morrison offers us hope. We should take it. The standoff continued through the night. Jake's future on Zarian and the future of the Zirathi species hung in the balance. As he looked at the faces around him, Jake realized that his greatest challenge was not adapting to alien technology or culture. It was proving that love and acceptance were more powerful than fear and prejudice, even on a world far from Earth. The standoff between Commander Nix and the Council lasted 3 days. During this time, Jake worked with Zara and Kira to find a solution that would satisfy everyone. He knew that forcing the issue would only create more problems later. The Zirathi needed to choose their future freely, not have it imposed on them. On the 4th morning, Jake had an idea. He asked Elder Thane to call a meeting of all the Zirathi in the Crystal City. Thousands of them gathered in the Great Assembly Hall, a vast chamber that grew from the living mountain itself. Jake stood before them all, feeling small and nervous, but determined to speak his heart. People of Zarian, Jake began. I know many of you have doubts about me and what I represent. You are right to be careful. Your species has survived for thousands of years by being wise and thoughtful. I do not ask you to abandon that wisdom now. The crowd listened quietly. Commander Nix stood with her supporters, watching Jake with suspicious eyes. I propose a test, Jake continued. Let Zara, Kira, and I try to have children together. If, our children are healthy and happy, if they truly represent the best of both our species, then you can decide if you want to continue the program. If they are not what we hope, then I will return to Earth and you can find another solution. What makes you think your children will be different from any other hybrid offspring? Commander Nix asked. Jake smiled. Because they will be raised with love, understanding, and the combined wisdom of 2 worlds. They will know where they come from and be proud of both their heritages. They will not be caught between 2 worlds. They will be bridges connecting them. Elder Thane stood up. This proposal has merit. We will allow Jake Morrison and our representatives to proceed with the reproduction program. The results will guide our future decisions. Commander Nix was not completely satisfied, but she agreed to wait and see what happened. The crowd dispersed and Jake felt both relief and terror. Now he had to prove that his confidence was justified. Over the following months, Jake's relationship with Zara and Kira deepened into something beautiful and unique. They learned to communicate not just with words, but with the empathic connection that the Zirathi used with each other. Jake discovered he could sense their emotions and thoughts, while they could feel his human passion and determination. The 3 of them worked together on projects that Combined human engineering with Xerathi? Biotechnology. They created new tools, new medicines, and new ways of growing food that amazed the Xerathi scientists. Their collaboration proved that the mixing of species could create innovations that neither could achieve alone. When Zara and Kira became pregnant, the entire planet celebrated. It had been over 50 years since anyone on Zarian had been pregnant. The medical scanner showed that the babies were developing normally and were genetically healthy. Jake felt a mixture of joy and overwhelming responsibility. Our children will make history, Zara said as they sat together watching the sunset through their crystal walls. They will be the first of a new kind of being, Kira added, placing Jake's hand on her growing belly. Neither fully human nor fully Xerathi, but something wonderful and new. Jake felt the baby move under his hand and was filled with emotion. I just want them to be happy and healthy. Everything else is secondary. The pregnancy lasted longer than human pregnancies, but shorter than normal Xerathi pregnancies. When the time came for birth, the entire medical team was ready. Jake was nervous and excited as he waited with Zara and Kira in the birthing chamber. The birth was unlike anything Jake had expected. The Xerathi process was gentle and natural, with biotechnology assisting every step. When the first baby emerged, Jake gasped. The child was beautiful, with skin that had a subtle shimmer like his mother's but human-like features. The baby's eyes were large and expressive, clearly showing intelligence and awareness. It is a girl, the medical attendant announced. She is perfectly healthy. Minutes later, 2 more babies were born. Jake stared in wonder at his 3 children, 2 girls and a boy. They were clearly a mixture of both species, but they looked like they belonged together. They were not caught between 2 worlds. They were the beginning of a new world. They are perfect, Zara whispered, tears of joy flowing down her face. They are our future, Kira added, holding one of the babies close. To her heart, Jake held his son and felt a love so powerful it nearly overwhelmed him. They are going to change everything. News of the successful birth spread across Zarian within hours. People came from all over the planet to see the hybrid children. Even Commander Nix came to observe them, though she said little as the babies grew. It became clear that they had inherited the best traits of both species. They had human curiosity and adaptability combined with Xerathi empathy and mental abilities. They learned incredibly fast and showed signs of being able to communicate with both organic and mechanical systems. Look at this, Jake said to Elder Thane when the children were 6 months old. His daughter had somehow made a broken bio-tool repair itself just by touching it. She understood what was wrong and fixed it instinctively. Remarkable, Elder Thane replied. These children have abilities that neither species possesses alone. Commander Nix watched the demonstration with growing amazement. How is this possible? It is the power of genetic diversity, Jake explained. When you combine different traits, sometimes you get results that are better than either parent. Our children are not just half human and half Xerathi. They are something entirely new. As the children grew older, they became beloved throughout Zarian. They played with the adult Xerathi, learning their language and customs. They also listened eagerly to Jake's stories about Earth and human culture. They were equally comfortable with both sides of their heritage. Commander Nix gradually changed her opinion about the hybrid program. I was wrong, she admitted to Jake. When the children were 2 years old, these children are not a pollution of our genetics. They are an evolution of our species. They are the future, Jake replied. Not just for the Xerathi, but for all intelligent species in the galaxy. The success of Jake's children led to the expansion of the reproduction program. Other compatible humans were brought to Zarian, and soon there were dozens of hybrid children playing in the crystal cities. Each generation was healthier and more capable than the last. Jake established an academy where the children could learn about both human and Xerathi culture. He taught them human engineering and problem-solving skills, while Xerathi instructors taught them empathy, telepathy, and bio-technology. Years passed, and Jake watched his children grow into remarkable young adults. They became ambassadors between species, helping to establish contact between Earth and other worlds. His oldest daughter became a scientist who developed new technologies for interstellar travel. His son became a diplomat who helped negotiate peaceful contact with other alien species. Jake often stood on the balcony of his crystal home, looking up at the stars and thinking about his journey. He had started as a simple mechanic in a small Ohio town. Now he was the father of a new species and the bridge between worlds. "Do you ever regret leaving Earth?" Kira asked him one evening as they watched their grandchildren play in the garden. "Never," Jake replied without hesitation. "This is where I belong. This is what I was meant to do." Zara joined them, her hair now showing silver streaks despite her long Zerathi lifespan. "You saved our people, Jake Morrison. You gave us a future we never could have imagined." Jake smiled as he watched his hybrid grandchildren playing with pure Zerathi children and newly arrived human children. They were all part of one big family now, united not by genetics but by love, understanding, and hope for the future. "No," Jake said softly, "we saved each other. And we created something beautiful together." The stars above them twinkled with the lights of ships carrying diplomats, scientists, and families between Earth and Zarian. What had started with a simple phone call to a mechanic's garage had become the foundation for galactic civilization. Jake's children and grandchildren would carry that legacy forward to stars he could not even imagine.